In 1982, President Ronald Reagan launched an ambitious effort to tackle government waste and inefficiency through the creation of the President's Private Sector Survey on Cost Control, commonly known as the Grace Commission. Named after its chairman, industrialist J. Peter Grace, this initiative aimed to bring private sector expertise to bear on the federal government's fiscal challenges. Nearly 4 decades later, it's worth examining the Commission's work and speculating on how the national debt might look today had its recommendations been fully implemented. The Grace Commission's mandate and findings. President Reagan established the Grace Commission through Executive Order 12,369 on June 30, 1982. The Commission's mandate was clear: to identify areas of waste and inefficiency in the federal government and propose solutions to reduce costs. Reagan famously urged the Commission members to work like tireless bloodhounds and leave no stone unturned in their search for government inefficiencies. After an extensive review involving 36 task forces and 11 special studies, the Grace Commission presented its final report to Congress in January 1984. The report contained 2,478 recommendations aimed at cutting federal spending and improving government operations. The Commission estimated that if fully implemented, these recommendations could save $424 billion over 3 years, with potential savings rising to $1.9 trillion per year by the year 2000. Key recommendations and potential impact. The Grace Commission's recommendations were wide-ranging and touched on various aspects of government operations. Some of the major proposals included reforming federal retirement programs, identified as the largest source of potential savings, improving debt collection practices and modifying loan programs, increasing receipts from the sale of natural resources and federally provided services, implementing management initiatives to enhance efficiency across government agencies, and addressing tax policy and improving tax collection methods. The Commission's work highlighted significant issues in government operations. It reported that 1/3 of all income taxes were consumed by waste and inefficiency, while another third escaped collection due to the underground economy. This meant that all individual income tax revenues were being absorbed by interest on the federal debt and transfer payments before any funds could be allocated to essential government services. Implementation, challenges, and actual outcomes. Despite the Commission's thorough work and bold recommendations, the implementation of its proposals faced significant challenges. Many of the recommendations, particularly those requiring legislative action, were never fully implemented. The Congressional Budget Office, CBO, and General Accounting Office, GAO, conducted a joint analysis of the Commission's major proposals, estimating that potential savings over 3 years, 1985 to 1987, would be closer to $100 billion rather than the $424 billion projected by the Commission. While the full vision of the Grace Commission was not realized, it did have some impact. President Reagan included hundreds of Grace Commission recommendations in his annual budgets throughout the rest of his term in office. The Commission's work also helped to highlight areas of government waste and inefficiency, contributing to ongoing discussions about fiscal responsibility and government reform. Speculating on the national debt today. Had the Grace Commission's recommendations been fully implemented and achieved their projected savings, the national debt picture today could look significantly different. The Commission estimated that without reforms, the national debt would rise to $13 trillion by the year 2000. But with their proposed changes, it would only reach $2.5 trillion. In reality, the U.S. national debt reached $5.6 trillion in 2000 and $13 trillion in 2010 following the 2008 financial crisis. As of 2024, the national debt has surpassed $34 trillion. While it's impossible to predict with certainty, we can speculate on potential scenarios. In a best-case scenario, if the Grace Commission's most optimistic projections had been realized, the national debt might have stabilized around $2.5 trillion by 2000. Assuming continued fiscal discipline, the debt could potentially be significantly lower today, perhaps in the $5 to $10 trillion range. In a moderate impact scenario, even if only half of the projected savings were achieved, the national debt might have been closer to $8 to $10 trillion by 2010, potentially reaching $15 to $20 trillion today instead of $34 trillion. In a limited impact scenario, if only a quarter of the recommendations were implemented successfully, we might have seen the debt reach current levels a few years later than it actually did, perhaps buying more time for additional reforms. It's important to note that these speculations are highly simplified and don't account for major events like economic recessions, wars, or the COVID-19 pandemic, which have significantly impacted government spending and debt levels. Lessons and legacy. The Grace Commission's work offers several important lessons for current and future efforts at government reform. It demonstrated the potential value of bringing private sector knowledge to bear on government operations. The breadth and depth of the Commission's review set a standard for thorough examination of government spending. The difficulty in implementing many of the Commission's recommendations highlights the complexities of enacting sweeping reforms in a democratic system with multiple stakeholders. The Commission's projections extending to the year 2000 emphasize the importance of considering the long-term implications of fiscal policies. Many of the issues identified by the Grace Commission, such as inefficiencies in federal programs and challenges in tax collection, remain relevant today. While the Grace Commission's most ambitious goals were not fully realized, its work continues to influence discussions about government efficiency and fiscal responsibility. Recent initiatives, such as the Republican Study Committee's Government Efficiency, Accountability, and Reform Task Force, draw inspiration from the Grace Commission's approach. Conclusion. The Grace Commission represented a bold attempt to address the fiscal challenges facing the United States in the 1980s. While its full vision was not realized, it highlighted critical issues in government operations and spending that continue to resonate today. As the national debt continues to grow, the Commission's work serves as a reminder of the ongoing need for vigilance in government efficiency and fiscal responsibility. Had the Grace Commission's recommendations been fully implemented and achieved their projected savings, the United States might be facing a significantly lower national debt today. However, the challenges in implementing such sweeping reforms highlight the complexities of governance and the need for sustained political will to enact meaningful fiscal changes. As we look to the future, the lessons and legacy of the Grace Commission remain relevant. They underscore the importance of continual efforts to improve government efficiency, reduce waste, and address long-term fiscal challenges. While the specific recommendations may have evolved, the core principle of seeking innovative solutions to enhance government performance and fiscal health continues to be a crucial aspect of responsible governance. Thanks for watching this deep dive into President Reagan's Grace Commission and its potential impact on our national debt. If you found this historical analysis eye-opening, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth looks at pivotal moments in economic policy. But let's not stop at just learning about the past. The issues of government efficiency and fiscal responsibility are just as relevant today as they were in the 1980s. So what can you do? First, share this video with friends and family to spread awareness about the ongoing challenges of government spending and debt. Knowledge is the first step towards change. Second, get involved in your local community. Attend town halls, write to your representatives, and make your voice heard on issues of government efficiency and fiscal responsibility. Remember, change often starts at the grassroots level. Lastly, keep yourself informed. The Grace Commission may be history, but its lessons are timeless. Together, we can work towards a more efficient and fiscally responsible government. Don't forget to leave a comment with your thoughts on how we can apply these lessons today. Until next time, stay curious and stay engaged.